And welcome to dccodesandgames.com. Today we are going to be doing the 10 farming tips you need to know in Medieval Dynasty. Now before we go into that, I want you guys to like and subscribe. That would be fantastic. And also don't forget to check out my website at dccodesandgames.com, where you can actually get the Game Pass and play this game. Also, I'll give you a little bonus tip at the end, so please stay tuned. The first stage I would do is I would get cabbage. That's quite a good thing for the early stages of the game. And then when you get cabbage and you sell it on to vendors, etc., I would start acquiring different seeds and things. And the best way is to go to one of your NPCs in your settlement, and then you can actually say to them, where do you find so and so, and they'll tell you all the information you need. Here's the map of the location. So when you go to the vendors, just buy a handful of seeds you can get, do a variety, and then the beauty of it is that when you start farming and you put down your lands for the crops, you could do more than you've got, because after a while, automatically you'll gain more seeds anyway, because once the plants are planted, they'll drop the seeds, etc. So you just keep growing in that aspect. A second point is I would really focus on later on flax and wheat. Wheat is really good because this can actually then create flour, which will actually create more food for your settlement, which will then lead into different food types you could get, like pies, etc. Flax is one that I think can be the most profitable, because once you get that, you can sell it for quite a decent amount, and you could get the flax seed, and that weighs less, so you can carry it to the other settlements and then just sell it off. Also, flax will actually lead to different threads that then your sewing hut can make clothes, which are very profitable. So definitely worth investing a lot of crops in flax. So the third point is that you're gonna have a problem, and that is that you won't have enough fertilizer. And in the early stages of the game, you'd probably want to put food to rot outside to then go into fertilizer, but the best option is actually to get pigs. And I have 2 pig styles, and that is creating a load of manure for me, which will then turn into fertilizer. Having 2 pig styles, you'll just have a load of manure. You could actually probably sell off some of it. But that means that if you have 2 pig styles, it's going to be sufficient enough. You don't need more than 2 pig styles. The manure then can be turned into fertilizer through the barn. Having 2 barns is quite good. It means that you can produce it quite fast, the manure. Otherwise, you might end up with more manure and not enough fertilizer. And then when you've got enough fertilizer, that'll do. You don't have to worry about it anymore. It's an automatic process. So the fourth point is, when you start out, you'll want to do the work yourself, because you won't have enough NPCs to actually do the work, and you might not have enough reputation to actually get the villagers to be in your settlement to work on the fields, because you'll have to use them for other things, in like blacksmiths and stuff, and other barn areas and etc. and wood cutting. So then the fifth point is that when you do the work yourself, you're going to skill up. And I would actually go to your custom menu, and there's an experience bar there, and I would just increase it to whatever you want. What do you feel comfortable? Do you really want to level up really fast in the game and it will be very easy to you? Then do that. I mean, there's no harm in doing this. So the custom cheat menu, they've designed that purposely. And one thing I would not do though is change the season or anything like that. If you made the season longer, your crops might take ages until you make a profit for the next season, you see. So it's not so wise, I don't think. And if you make it too short, then your NPCs might not have enough time to farm everything. So later on in the game, you'll have your NPCs working in the field, you'll have enough tools for them. So what you want to do is you want to get the people that are working in the fields close to their house. They like working next to where their house is. That will put their efficiency up a bit more. Also in the early stages, you'll probably want to have wood or straw houses, but try to develop their houses into stone because their efficiency will be better as well. But do that more for the workers in the barns and things, because you'd want to put all the high skilled level NPCs there, because then they'll actually produce more of the fertilizer, etc, etc. The NPCs that are actually working in the fields, they don't actually need that higher level. They'll just do the same amount of work really. The next tip is I would watch out for how big your fields are. If they're too big, then the efficiency could not be that great. I've done it 9 by 16. I think maybe I'm a bit too big. Probably the ideal is probably by 7 by 16. But you'd have to experiment with that to see what works best for you. If you have it too big, the field, your NCPs won't actually do all the work in the field, won't have enough time. There is a limit to the amount of NCPs in a field at a time. The next point I would say is name your fields. So have one field dedicated to one crop, and then create another, and then this actually manages what you have, what you need more of, or what you just need less of, and it will help you massively. Maybe at the early stages you want to start off with half of the crop here, half of the crop there. That's fine, because you might not have enough cash to do a whole field. And take in mind that each field will cost you tax, so the bigger the field, the more tax. Also, make sure you have enough blacksmiths creating these tools so that it becomes an automatic process. All these tools that the farmers use will be put in the resource place. You could put them into the farm shed if you want, and then the NPCs will use them automatically. Bear in mind you might need to manage how much blacksmiths you have over the wood that you're creating to create the tools, or the stone that you're extracting to create the tools. And also I would also develop mines at a later stage of the game and try get your hands on making iron type tools. This will help with the efficiency of your farms. Also, I would try to get a sowing hut as soon as you can. This will allow you to make a simple bags or a bag, and this will make the whole process of making bags automatic, so you don't have to keep supplying this end. And bags are used obviously to have the fertilizer to put onto the fields. So now for the bonus tip, I think it's wise for farm sheds to be put in the middle of your fields. So the equation would be minimum amount of sheds for more fields. The farm sheds being put in the middle will have a distance. The distance is less than what you have with the fields, then there will be problems because the farmers won't be as efficient, and this will actually usually come onto the management section and tell you. But also remember that you have a building limit, so this is why you want the minimum amount of farm sheds so that you can create the most fields around it. I hope that makes sense. And also there's a new update coming, so I'm hoping to see you guys there, and I believe it's co-op, and I will be doing more of these videos on Medieval Dynasty because of this. And I hope you liked the video, and if there's anything that you want to see in particular, or maybe want me to talk to you about, do let me know. And if anybody has any great tips, let me know. See you on the next one.